Hello and welcome to my, oh gosh, I'm sorry. Hello and welcome to my channel, Boozy Bookish Thoughts. I'm Justine, or Jay if you prefer, and welcome to my new video. So today we're going to be talking about, it's a little project I have going on with my reading. I'm still drinking the Riche Baron Vin de France from my birthday haul. So I've got a glass of that. So I hope you pour yourself a glass of your preferred wine or cocktail or beer or iced tea for all I care. The point is, get cozy and we'll talk a little bit about books. So what I'm going to be talking about today is what I call the unfinished project. I'll probably have some text up here. And what that's about is a little project I have ongoing with my own reading. It's like a little challenge I have for myself. And I'm talking about it on the channel because you're probably going to hear about it in several of my videos from now until at least next year. Hoping that my channel survives until next year, fingers crossed. But so let's get into it. So what is the unfinished project? So um, I have, or I used to have, a bad habit of reading. I mean, it's not necessarily a bad habit, but I used to be in the habit of reading multiple books all at the same time. And this was not necessarily a bad thing, except that um, I would start new books without having finished old ones. And that meant that there were tons of unfinished books just hanging in the air in limbo because I refused to officially DNF them, and they were just hanging there, and I would constantly be saying to myself that no, I'll get back to them eventually, I'll circle around to them eventually. And yet I would constantly start new books and sometimes finish new books, or sometimes ditch those new books in favor of newer books. So it was a bit of a mess. And so my I was bemoaning the state of affairs to my partner, who is a very sweet man. And he was the one who inspired me, and he was the one who challenged me, who said, you know what? Why don't you go back and finish all of the books you've started? And I was like, that's a lot of books. And he's like, start with a list of start with a list and then work and then finish those and then see how you feel from there. So this started in October of 2021, and I at that point I read I think 10 or 15 books. Um and it was amazing. I was able, I mean, in total, thanks to the in 2021 I read 15 books thanks to the unfinished project, and the total number of books I read that year were 32. So close to half of the books I read last year were because of the unfinished project, because I had this challenge motivating me to get through these books, either get through them or officially DNF them. And so in total, thanks to these actually no, I think it's a little less than that. It's about 10 books, not, I mean, but so at least a good third of the books I read last year were thanks to the unfinished project. So that's a significant percentage. So definitely the unfinished project has increased the number of books I'm reading per month, per year. And it's amazing. It's it's a little strange that, I mean, but thanks to my neurodivergence, I need these kind of challenges. I need this external driving factor to motivate me, or to set down the law or the rule that I need to finish these books. So I sat down So I have a list on my phone of all the books that I've left unfinished from I think I started the list in like October 2021, and I have that list on, and I let the list stretch back as far as like 2018 or so. Um and there were some books that I officially left off it because I decided I DNF'd them for a reason and I didn't want to pick them back up. And there were some books that were from before 2018, which I literally do not remember anymore where I was in that plot. Shout out to Game of Thrones. I don't even remember which book that was, but it was a Game of Thrones book, and I'm like, I know I was in the middle of you, but I don't remember it. So I had a list of books, and I I keep that list of books on my phone, and the rule that I have is that for every 5 new books that I read, I have to read 5 books from the unfinished list. So it's kind of alternating. I do allow myself to read new books because it would get very boring if I had to like brush just force myself to continue reading all of those old books. um so I do allow myself to read new books, but I do force myself to finish, well, not force, but I am challenging myself to finish all of these unfinished books. And so in total, thanks to the unfinished project, I have read a total of 17 books that I had started, some as far back as 2018 or even 2017 maybe. And thanks to this project, I finished them. So included in those books are The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, which was honestly not as amazing as I thought it would be, but definitely very significant, and is definitely covers a lot of very significant topics and all that. But as a book, I'm not sure it was all that satisfying. But another book I finished thanks to this was The Seven and a Half Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. Again, I'm not sure. It was a good book, but I don't know if I would have finished it if it hadn't been for the push of the unfinished project. In the end, I'm still glad I was able to tick it off, but yeah, I don't know if I'll feature it in a future video, but it was still a pretty fun read, and I'm glad I got through it. I picked up another book by Stuart Turton, and I'm hoping that one will turn me on to his writing even more. Um and so those are some of the books that I have finished thanks to the unfinished project. And in total I have about 19 to 20 books left on the unfinished list, including several classics like The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald. Oh gosh, that's a hard word to say. F. Scott Fitzgerald. So I have several classics on this, including Anna Karenina, by Leo Tolstoy, The Great Gatsby, F. Scott Fitzgerald, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne. Um, I started these feeling very ambitious and never finished them, but I do want to finish them. So these are all books that I definitely do want to finish. There are also a bunch of like historical cozy mysteries on there, which I do want to finish just for the sake of seeing that I got through them. And also because I tend to be an optimist as a reader. Like you never know when the next favorite series is gonna come out from. So I never know if one of these books is going to be my next favorite series. So I do am plan to read all of them, and I am optimistic about them. Um, Another book that is on my unfinished list is Tipping the Velvet by Sarah Waters. This was I first learned of this book from another YouTuber. Well, not a YouTuber, her wife. I learned about this on the channel Jessica Kelgren Fozard, who is a great disability activist YouTuber. You should check her out if you need disability advocacy or disability information. And she's also just incredibly awesome. And she and her wife Claudia produce some of the most adorable content on the internet. And Claudia mentioned that this book was her like lesbian awakening. I don't feel bad about saying this online because she said it on a video too. So I was curious about this book and I started it, but I never finished it. And I definitely do want to finish it because apparently it's a lesbian classic. Um so these are some of the tidbits or the highlights of the unfinished project. So I did mention this project already on my July TBR. I did mention this project already on my July TBR when I mentioned Pride and Prejudice and Battleground. So both of those books are on my unfinished list, and I hope to continue to add. So after 2 books, I will add another 3 books from my unfinished list to complete the 5 that I need to read before I can read new books. So that's it. That's it for today's video. I just wanted to talk a little bit about something that would likely be mentioned a lot in my future videos. And I hope you enjoyed this little short summary of a little reading challenge I have for myself. Do you play games with your, it sounds so bad, play games, but like, do you set yourself these little reading challenges for yourself? If you do, leave a comment down below about what kind of challenges you set for yourself. And if you don't have anything else to say, maybe you can leave one of those notepad emojis, so that it's like checking off a list. Yeah, a notepad emoji. On the comment section. In the meantime, I hope you have a good time and cheers.